Good morning. On behalf of the Department of Veterans Affairs, Northern California, Healthcare System, the City of Rancho Cordova, Alpha Graphics, I welcome all of you to the 11th Annual Veterans Day Ceremony, and I forgot Republic Services, so we'll include those also. Our theme this year is remembering our veterans and honoring the mission of the U.S. Naval Construction Forces, Seabees. I'd like to thank the Rancho Cordova River City Concert Band for their pre-music, and I think you'll be really happy with them the rest of the ceremony. As we do every time, I'd like everybody to get up, introduce you to your next door neighbor or behind you or whatever, and remain standing until after we post the colors and have the national anthem. Our colors this morning are being honored by the Cordova High School, U.S. Army Junior ROTC, Lieutenant Richard Keyes, U.S. Air Force retired, and Raymond E. Kirkland, Chief Master Sergeant, U.S. Army Air Force retired, are in charge. Post the colors.
Hold! Halt! Three, set, up! Order, up! Ready, haste! Forward, march! Ready, halt! Right, haste! Forward, up!
Let's give these young people a great big hand. Now, Hal Baker, construction electrician, second class, E5, will come up. He'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Hal, here you go.
Okay. Hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
Thank you, Al.
Booyah.
They're part of the Navy, folks, so, don't get excited. Father, come on up. Our invocation will be by Father Rod D. Rivera, and I probably lost that one up too. It's the priest of the St. John Vianney's. Thank you, sir.
Lord God, Almighty Father, creator of mankind and author of peace, as we are ever mindful of the cost paid for the liberty we possess, we ask you to bless this gathering. Let us remember the sacrifices and be grateful of those who have come before us. We continue to beg of your grace, Lord. Let this be a moment of celebration, of joy, of peace, of community. And may we ever experience your firm support and your gentle love. To you be all the glory, honor, and praise, now and forever. Amen.
Believe it or not, you now may be seated. Our welcome this morning, Sandra Washington, Assistant Acting Associate Director of the VA Hospital. And believe it or not, she's a U.S. Army vet, so that puts her in good stead up here at the podium. Where you at, Sandra? There we go. I love this job.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for the kind introduction, and thank all of you for the very warm reception. I'd like to welcome our dignitaries, our veterans, our families, supporters, and friends. Thank you and good morning. It's a beautiful morning, right? Okay. Today we celebrate the service, sacrifice, and enduring achievements of almost 22 million Americans, living Americans who have served our nation in uniform, both at home and abroad, in both peace and war times. On the 11th day of the 11th month, as we have had in so many years past, America will reflect on our way of life and pay tribute to the men and to the women who made it all possible. Today, in countless ceremonies repeated across the country, Americans will pause to honor those who have earned the title of veteran. Men and women who've given of themselves what no one day of tribute can ever truly honor, and what no words of appreciation can ever fully acknowledge. This year, we would like to give special recognition to the Seabees. The Seabees are members of the United States Naval Construction Forces. The word Seabees comes from actually the initial CB, which stands for Construction Battalion. The Seabees have a very simple motto, and it is, we build and we fight. The song of the Seabees goes a little bit like this, and I won't sing it for you, but I will recite the verses. We are the Seabees of the Navy. We can build and we can fight. We'll pave our way to victory and guard it day and night. And they certainly did just that. The Seabees were born out of necessity. From the islands of the Pacifics to the jungles of the Vietnam, to the mountains of Bosnia, and to the sands of the Mideast. They built and worked construction around our globe. Some would say they are outside of the norm of our traditional Navy. They have a hammer in one hand and they have a rifle in the next. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States entered into war, and the use of civilian labor in war zones became impractical. And so the need for a militarized naval construction force to build advanced bases in war zones became and was very evident. The first Seabees were not raw recruits when they voluntarily enlisted. Emphasis in recruiting was placed on experience and skill. So they all had to adapt their civilian construction skills to that of our military's needs. The first recruits were men who'd helped build the Boulder Dam, our national highways, the nation's skyscrapers in New York, those who worked in mines and in quarries, those who dug tunnels, and who worked in shipyards to build docks, wharfs, and even ocean liners and aircraft carriers. By the end of the war, over 325,000 such men had enlisted in the Seabees. They were known to have more than 60 skilled trades. They were crucial to the victories of both our European and Pacific campaigns, opening and maintaining bases of critical logistical and strategic importance. For over 75 years, the Seabees have demonstrated their skills as builders and as fighters. Today, we honor this occupation and all of our veterans for their service to our country. Today has meaning beyond a simple ceremony of appreciation. On this Veterans Day 2016, thank you all for attending this ceremony. God bless our veterans. God bless those wearing our uniforms today across our country and around the globe. And may God continue to bless our great nation.
I really didn't have to turn the page, David, but now I'd like to have the Honorable David M. Sander, the Mayor of Rancho Cordova, come up and greet us.
Thank you and good morning. Well, welcome to the All-America City of Rancho Cordova. It is an honor to stand here representing the people of this fine city on this beautiful day, on this special day, so filled with hope and memory. The city of Rancho Cordova is a vibrant community with a proud and strong military heritage, and we really value our veterans. Our city, once the site of Mather Air Force Base, is still home to an estimated 5,000 veterans and their families. On this day, Veterans Day, it's a day to remember those who have served, protecting our nation, protecting our freedoms. As many of you do, probably this very morning, I think of those I know who have served, particularly those in my family. I think of my father in the Army during the Cold War. I think of a great uncle who survived D-Day, but then died in the breakout in France. Or another uncle who flew the hump in India and China. Even a cousin whose German language skills allowed him to serve behind the lines, that's the enemy lines, during World War II. And there are so many more who continue to serve. I think of all of those I know, we know, who are serving and who have served, and like you, I wish there was a way to say thank you. Well, this day is for that, exactly. It's for thank yous. It's also a day to remember and to honor all those who have served. But in my role today, as a city councilman and as mayor in the city of Rancho Cordova, I'm here to tell you that we have other ways that we can extend those thanks just beyond today. This year, as many of you know, the city of Rancho Cordova, with our partners from Sacramento County, and from right here at the Veterans Administration Hospital, we're very proud to open the first phase of Mather Veterans Village, where we are doing much more than just saying thank you for our service to our veterans. We are backing all those benevolent thoughts that we have with action and making a real difference for what will be hundreds of veterans. Homeless and disabled veterans now have a place to call home at Mather Veterans Village right here in the city of Rancho Cordova. And in coming years, there will be even more opportunities there, for we only did phase 1 to date. There will be transitional, supportive housing. Eventually, there will be housing for families, even for families with loved ones who are receiving treatment here at this great VA hospital. All of that lies in the future for our veterans here in Rancho Cordova. These projects will house over 150 veterans and veterans' families. It will be, and is, shockingly, the largest such facility with the best supportive programs and partners in the state of California. And we're very proud of that, and you should be too, because you all have a role in contributing to that facility one way or another. So as we stand here, looking for that way to say thank you to our veterans, as we stand here in the all-America city of Rancho Cordova with our long heritage of service, as we stand here at the former Mather Air Force Base, at this Veterans Hospital, on this Memorial Plaza, in the company of so many veterans, and our memories of their great service on this Veterans Day, we remember and we hope. Thank you.
And now we'll have the Honorable Robert J. McGarvey. He's the chairman of our Memorial and Veterans Day Committee, and has been it ever since it started. So come on up, Bob.
Good morning. Let's see, this is Chamber of Commerce weather. This is whatever you want to call it. This is great. Last year we had a few drops of rain, I think, but construction. Behind you, you see Mather Hospital. Next Memorial Day, this isn't going to be exactly the same, because after today, they're going to start constructing right back there and expanding it forward. So this will probably be more of a semicircle, but it'll still be here for Memorial Day. Construction, things happen. Our son, Bill McGarvey, was in the Air Force for 21 years. He was a police officer for 12, then he changed to civil engineering and started working on construction. As the mayor said, we have begun with 50 of the apartments over there at Veterans Village. More construction. My father was in the Seabees during World War II in the islands in the Pacific. Construction. They built a lot. They put buildings up, airfields. You name it, they did it. Monica Pulido, who is a member of the National Guard, was deployed overseas. Then she got some news that her roof on her house was leaking. She called home the National Guard, and we ended up with the Owens Corning and the Cal Vintage Roofing combined. They rebuilt her roof, honoring a veteran. It's really something when you can have a company like that honor veterans too. But that's construction. But as I said, my father was in the Seabees. There are a lot of people here who know the Seabees from what they've read, what they heard in the past. You don't hear much about them. Now, I read how accurate this is. I don't know, maybe I'll be corrected as the Seabees speak tonight. But I read that there are still 13,000 active Seabees, and there are still 13,000 active reserve in the Seabees. In Iraq, one of the things that you saw when the first war happened was Saddam Hussein's statue was brought down. The Seabees did that. It's amazing. They are veterans. They are honorable, wonderful people. I wish my father could be here today, but then he's one of those who did his job in World War II. Others did their job in Korea in Vietnam, and today. The Seabees are doing their job. All of you veterans did your job and are doing it today too. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Before I get to the introductions, I've got a couple soldiers from Canada I'd like to recognize. From the Royal Canadian Air Force, Captain Arbuckle and Master Corpsman, I think it's Broadman. They're both stationed at Beale with the 7th Base Warning Squad. Where are they at? I know they're in here somewhere. Stand up and take a bow. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for your service. You know, it's amazing that we're getting international here too, Bob. I mean, you know, let's face it. Now with the surprise I got. We got a gal here who's 106 years old. If I get emotional thinking of it. She was in the WASP during World War II in the women's helicopter pilot outfit, 55th. Can she get up here a little bit? I'd like you to look at this one. Let me tell you, there's 5 generations of them. Oh, she's got her walker, which... I wish I looked that good.
Oh, well, I just appreciate all the consideration you have for me. And I've lived a long time. I've seen a lot, and I've seen our wars. And I'm so appreciative. There's so many nice people still here to celebrate these wonderful times that we are having together. And I'm just so happy to be here among everyone. I just love being here. And I hope to see you the first of the year. I'll be 178. Thank you, even if I could go to each one of you for this nice time you're giving me. Thank you.
It's not too often you have a 106 young lady here and been in the service. It's amazing. Incidentally, for all of you who are going to stay after and take photos, she's going to be in the center of the picture. She said she stayed. Okay, introductions. I killed enough time, but I don't see it. The Honorable Dr. Ami Berra, U.S. Congress, California 7th District. Is he here yet? Not yet. He's probably at another one and coming here after, but he'll be here. The Honorable Jim Nielsen, California State Senate, 4th District. Jim, there he is. You ought to stand up a little bit and let them applaud you, you know. Give me a break. The Honorable Ken Cooley, California State Assembly, 8th District. I'm probably going to goof this one too. June Ilana, is that right, June? It's Good enough, I guess. Public Information Manager of the California Department of Veterans Affairs. Now we go to the Rancho Cordova City Council. Oh, boy. Mayor David M. Sanders. I got that one right. Vice Mayor Donald Terry. Don, that was too quick. Get up there and show your face. This is, I'm taking a little advantage here, but that's all right. Council Member Robert J. McGarvey. Councilwoman Linda Budge, my good friend. Council Member Dan Skoglund. Did I get it right? Gotta give me a hand. Is he here? Oh, 11 years, and I finally get it right, and he's not here.
Hey, it's being videoed. You're okay.
Dr. William Cahill, Chief of Staff, Veterans, Northern California Healthcare System. Is Zach Ford here? Oh. Board member, Folsom Cordova Unified School District. Only going to get this one goofed up. Michael Gould, is that right? Chief of Police for the Rancho Cordova Police Department. Where's he at? I know people want to see who he is, so they can go that way. He's not here either. All right.
Rick Sloan, Park District.
Oh. And Rick Sloan from the Parks Department? There you go, right over here taking pictures. Good. Gary Strong, CEO, American Red Cross Gold Country. Gold Country region. I sort of blew that one, but. And then we have CM3 Dino, that's his nickname. Dean Wright, former member U.S. Navy Seabees, and our keynote speaker. Okay, will all veterans please rise? All, everybody, that's a veteran. Now, the reason, thank you. The reason I do this because there's veterans, you can sit down now. There's veterans who have not served in the war, that served in between the wars. So I know for the first couple of years I sort of missed that portion of it, and it's a veteran's a veteran regardless of when he became a veteran or how he became a veteran. So, what?
Or she.
Oh, 4G, huh? Oh, man. If I get through this one, I probably won't be at the next one. But anyway. All right, I'd like to have all World War II veterans now stand up and be recognized. World War II, come on. There's got to be a couple of you out there. Thank you. Korean War. Korean, come on. All right. That's something that Korean War is sort of being forgotten. They're almost like the Vietnam veterans when they came home. But now it seems that we're forgetting about the Korean ones. So we'll take care of that probably the next one or the one after. Vietnam veterans. I know there's a mob of you out there on that one. All right, we've got Panama, Grenada, Somalia, Bosnia. Huh. Anybody from those? Ah, we got one, two. Oh boy, right over here. Give him a big hand. Lebanon. Anybody in the Lebanon? I always like this one. Women veterans. There we go. All right. Now, generally, I say World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans, but I don't think there's too many of us around been in all three of them, so we'll go by that one. Desert Storm, Desert Shield rather, Desert Storm, Iraq. We got a few of those here. Afghanistan. Afghanistan. Now, the last one, and once in a while we'll have one here, POWs. Do we have any POWs in the crowd? Let's give them a big hand, too. Now, before we have the band play the songs of the armed forces, I would like to thank Paul W. Allen of the Rancho Cordova River City Concert Band for arranging the music for the songs of the Seabees, which will be played after the songs of the armed forces. Paul, where are you at? He deserves a, there, give him a hand too. They sent me the music for the Seabees, so I forgot, I'll print it out, I'll have it. About 30 pages later, the whole score came out. So I have it in case you guys lose it. All right, if you will, as your song is played, please stand. And Tom, it's all yours.
The United States Army. United States Marines. United States Navy.
Quiet down. Too much noise.
Coast Guard.
When are we doing the Seabees? Now? All right. All right, before we do that, I'd like to, as usual, you got goofs all the way around, but Chris Clark from the Cordova School District is here. Where's Chris? Chris, stand up and take a bow, and I apologize for that. And then, if you will, I don't know why we missed this all this time, but we did. And I'd like you to bow your head for about 1 minute or less. MIAs. We never mention them. So if you will, let's give a moment of silence to that, and then we'll have the CB song. Thank you. Seabees can stand up, you know. There's no, whatever. Terrific, Tom. That was really great. That's the first time I heard that one, and it's quite a... We'll have to include that, Tom, from now on. Now I'm going to turn it over to Rick Swinford, who's going to carry on for a little bit, and then I'll be back up. Rick? Oh, he's Navy, too, so you got to bear with him.
Good morning, everybody. One group of individuals that Bob forgot to announce that I always have absolute respect for, over and above our normal veterans like myself and you, are our Purple Heart soldiers and sailors. So will our Purple Hearts please stand? The two that I'm familiar with today is Billy Scarles from World War II and Ken Anderson from Vietnam. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And now for the ceremonial placing of the wreaths, honoring our veterans. Entering from my right, your left, John Myers, Vice President of Military Affairs, and Phelps Hobart, Vice President of Membership, Sacramento Council, Navy League of the United States. Also, Tal Norwood, President, and Harvey Holcomb Jr., Commander, Naval Sojourners Incorporated, Sacramento, Chapter 133, and Heroes of 76.
Order. Leo. Speak. Forward. Leo. 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 Right. Leo. 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 Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we'll do the recognition of the newly placed bricks. Escorting our family members will be members of the United States Navy Sea Cadets and the United States Air Force Cadets. So will our members that will be donating the bricks please stand and get in line? And Dr. William Cahill, will you please come forward? Dr. Cahill is the Chief of Staff for VA Northern California Healthcare Systems.
Okay, while we're getting set here, thank you all for being here and welcome. So the Memorial Plaza began as a vision by local veterans who dreamed of a quiet place on this campus to reflect on the gift of the great men and women who served our country in our military. In 2001, a group of local veterans, including Mr. Joe Fricola, a World War II veteran, raised more than $400,000 in donations and dedicated more than 18,700 hours of their time to make this dream come true. The theme of this plaza is coming home, as symbolized by the bronze statue behind me of the medic returning home with his young daughter on his shoulders. The plaza was designed to hold 8,000 bricks, and since the dedication on Memorial Day in 2006, a total of 2,270 bricks have been placed to honor those who have served. Every year on Memorial Day and Veterans Day, newly ordered bricks are placed in the memory of our veterans. I will now read the names of those who have recently been remembered, and a representative of the honoree will be escorted to the plaza to place a carnation on the brick in the memory of their veteran service. Thomas Clark. Kenneth Clark. David Mudge. Robert Silva. C. Mike Williams. William Berry. Patrick. C.J. McCarthy, Sr. Sal Macabata, Sr. Victor Fechter. First Lieutenant R. Fechter. Bill Johnston. Rod Johnston. John Gabriel Delatorre. Isam Anderson. Patricia Gunter. Patsy Malone. Dottie Greening. Frank Witchell. Captola Cappy Johnson. Henderson Hill. Harris Mannion. Joe Slack. Louis Grouse. Max Sweeney. Clarence Darrow. Larry Biggers. Women Veterans Alliance. got to be a story behind that one. Marvin Olof. Floyd Baker. It's nice to have an opportunity to remember these veterans, but it's also a reminder it's also clearly a reminder that it's not just the veteran that served. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cahill. We're going to step into our guest speakers, and right on cue, Dr. Omni Berra, Congressman, District 7.
Well, I guess that is good timing. Veterans Day is one of our holiest days, along with Memorial Day. And let me catch my breath for a second here. It is a day where we stop and remember what our country was founded upon. Those principles of freedom, liberty, justice for all, those values that are embedded in our Constitution. And, those, as I've said many a time here, those principles that guide our nation, that this great nation was founded upon, do not come free. When we think about the price of that, it is those that step up to protect and preserve those freedoms, those values. And that comes with a price. And on days like Veterans Day, like today, on Memorial Day, but really every day, we should wake up, and as we say our prayers, we should thank the men and women who have stepped up through the ages to serve our nation, particularly those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. We should also, on this Veterans Day, as we go around and you see those veterans, thank them for what they've done. Because it is that call to duty, that sense of duty that binds us together as Americans. Now, I would be remiss, we're at a crossroads as a nation as well. And as I think about where we are as a nation, what we have to do is remember what binds us together as a nation. And it is those core values that we're founded upon. Values of freedom, values of opportunity, values of justice, values of liberty for all. And if we focus as a nation on what binds us together, we can start healing ourselves. That's what our veterans teach us, because they don't answer that call to duty as one political party or another political party. They answer that call to duty as Americans. And what we can learn as a nation from our veterans, and part of the reason why it is so important to me in our office to serve our veterans, is because they remind us what it means to be Americans. And that is the great duty today within our nation, to remember that we are Americans first and what our country was founded upon. And on this Veterans Day, I want to salute all the veterans, all the men and women who have served our great nation, all of their families, and all of those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice and come before us. Thank you, and God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Congressman Mara. Now we'll hear from the Honorable Jim Nielsen, California State Senate, 4th District.
Happy Veterans Day, ladies and gentlemen, and I bring the greetings of the Senate Veterans Committee. Veterans Day should be just a little bit in our hearts every day. It ought not be just one day. It's always been an irony to me when the elected officials will come out on Veterans Day or Memorial Day and thump their chests and wave the flag with all of us and go back and forget it till the next Veterans Day or Memorial Day. And I watch them disregard and not think about it. And for a number of years, as I've spoken to every veterans group that comes to the Capitol for their day at the Capitol, AMVETS, Vietnam vets, whatever the day is, I always speak to them. I've had to say that, you know, they come and they talk with you, and then they go and they vote in ways that don't support this nation or its values. That's not okay. They don't wake up in the morning thinking about veterans or veterans issues. Well, for the last couple of years, at least within the California legislature, I've discerned a bit of a difference. My very respected and esteemed colleague, Ken Cooley, has helped do that as he's returned to the Capitol in the capacity as a legislator. He's helped restore some of that caring and daily thinking about our veterans. How necessary it is. And right now in our country, yet again, as was so during the Vietnam era, as our soldiers came back, disrespected, discouraged, despaired, and despairing. Now, this very day in the streets of America, our flag is burned and ripped asunder. Is that what we are as a nation? No, it is not. Those who have defended our honor and our country and our flag fought and stood forth for that freedom to protest, to voice differing opinions. But I do not believe that extends to spitting on and burning our flag. Over our history, ladies and gentlemen, how many of our soldiers, men and even women, died simply to ensure that that flag did not touch the ground in a battle? And yet some of us now throw it down, tear it asunder and burn it. That's not okay, and we need to speak out against that. And that is not disrespecting their rights. That is affirming the values of this country. And that flag represents something, ladies and gentlemen, the greatness of this land. Now, I want to say to them once in a while, you don't like it, leave it. One of Merle Haggard's verses. And I happen to be a close friend of that Okie from Muskogee. You don't like it, leave it, was one of his verses. But I'll not say that, but I'll say to those who disrespect, you better realize what freedoms you have. I've traveled in countries where they didn't have that right, and they dare not speak out
I would that they at least go there and see what it's like. My point in those words, let's all of us make this an occasion to resolve ourselves to each day wake up and think about our veterans. I'm reminded of a few years ago, a friend of mine telling how she was called to the cold December night streets of Yuba City. She's a veterans advocate. She was called down to the streets of Yuba City where a homeless veteran was being zipped into a body bag, died on the freezing streets of that city on a cold night of that most holy of months. And in my mind's eyes, even as I speak to you now, I can see that cold, white, blue face being zipped up into that bag. That veteran deserved more than that sad fate in the country that they served so nobly. That's why we make it a priority in our Veterans Committee to do more for the homeless veterans, for the incarcerated veterans who are doing their time and serving their term and re-entering society, for the female veterans who have unique problems too, and why each of us owe it to our veterans to pour our hearts out to them too, just a little bit each day. And as we celebrate this day, we celebrate them, but we remind ourselves to celebrate them every day, and let every day in America be Veterans Day, for they keep us free.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. Now, the Honorable Ken Cooley, California State Assembly, 8th District.
I really am so grateful for the words I've heard today from Congressman Bearer, from my Senate colleague Jim Nielsen. This reminder that what our veterans have served and sacrificed for is really the glue that binds America together. You know, I'm grateful that we are having Veterans Day on this Friday of this week, of this great consequential election in our land, where we see across this great nation divided outlooks, strongly divergent views. And yet, so here we are on Veterans Day, reminded of the sacrifices for this American democracy. Those who've given of their youth in service, who bear into adult life the marks of their service, stresses and strains of their service, those who died. It reminds me that, as I said with my colleagues just recently, the Pledge of Allegiance has been on my mind this week. The Pledge of Allegiance, we recited it this morning, we recite it all the time. It is comprised of so many very commonplace words when you think about it. Words we use all the time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Not that they are routine words, but they are commonplace words. So many of these words would come up in so many different settings, we might use them. All save that one distinctly American word, which rolls off our tongue: indivisible. This idea that in our country, the things that make us who we are, the thing that make our nation, despite our differences, that we should be indivisible, is the great American ideal. It is tested at times. It was tested in the Vietnam War, as my good Senate colleague Jim Nielsen reminded us. It was tested in the Civil War. We all think of that era. And yet we think about what we came through those times of division. You know, at the great Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., as he sits on that chair, Abraham Lincoln's hands resting on that chair. What his hands are resting on, what is carved in the marble in front of him, is what's known as a fasces, F-A-S-C-E-S, an ancient symbol of government, a bundle of sticks laced together. Any one stick brittle, you could break it. But bound together, the individuals, bound together, are strong and flexible. Senator Nielsen and I have the pleasure of serving in the state capitol. The most common symbol that you can find if you come down to Capitol Park and wander around, in Capitol Park, everywhere around you in Capitol Park, and in the historic wing of the state capitol, is the bundle of sticks. It's cast in the iron of every lamp out in Capitol Park. It's a round bundle of sticks a couple feet off the ground. It's carved in the wood of the monumental staircases. So this is what our nation is about. To have disparate people, disparate backgrounds, differing outlooks, but finding a true common core that binds us together despite those differences. And so on this particular Veterans Day, I think of this notion of indivisible, that great American word that will become so of paramount importance to us in the months ahead as we inaugurate a new president and try to find a common purpose as Americans. And this is why we are a lamp set on a hill. We are a marvel of the world that such different people could find togetherness and singleness of purpose and be generous to the rest of the world. So we honor you all, and I do want to conclude by noting the Seabees, the combat battalions. You know, their work was always done in partnership with the other fighting forces. Their work extended the effectiveness of the other fighting forces. They built training grounds, airports, launching strips. They removed hazards to our fighting men so that the fighting men and women would be more effective. So you even see in the armed services on this Veterans Day, as we honor the Seabees, this bundle of sticks, each one brittle, each one subject to failure, but bound together in a common enterprise, what we've accomplished, what has been accomplished. Today is a day we honor that accomplishment. We honor it in the context of our armed services. We honor it in the context of the Seabees, who partnered with their men-at-arms and women-at-arms brethren. And yet it's a reminder that we are all this great American bundle of sticks. And it is our most precious heritage that we should be indivisible, that we find our common ground and embrace whatever the future brings as Americans together. And obviously that's what's on my mind this day as I come here, enjoy seeing my father's brick, participate in this Veterans Day, and knowing that it is a foreshadowing of a kind of coming together for our whole nation this Veterans Day. What a great tonic to have Veterans Day 2016 on the Friday of election week in our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. We'll now hear from June Iljana, Public Information Manager for the California Department of Veteran Affairs.
Thank you very much. I am beyond honored to be here. I grew up in Rancho Cordova. I learned to drive on these streets. My mom was the public information officer at Mather Air Force Base during the entire base closure. She would be so proud to see the way the city of Rancho Cordova has invested in its veterans. I am honored to be here in front of one of the best VA medical centers and actually one of the best medical centers that we can offer our veterans. Thank you. It really is. More than 25,000 veterans move to California every year. We offer one of the most welcoming places for veterans. In fact, the veteran population has decreased by about 1.5% over the past 3 years nationwide. And in California, because you're so welcoming to them, we've actually increased our veteran population by about 0.5%. So thank you for being so good to them. Now, it's not only a federal holiday, but Governor Brown has declared Veterans Day in California as well, and I'd like to read you his proclamation. Veterans Day began as Armistice Day, a holiday commemorating the end of World War I on November 11, 1918. All too soon, it became clear that this had not been the war to end all wars, as some optimists claimed. After a second global conflict that dwarfed the first in its magnitude of destruction, countries around the world began changing their observance to encompass all conflicts and honor those who served. Our own Veterans Day was established as a national holiday by congressional resolution and presidential proclamation in 1954. Today, nearly 2 million veterans live in California. Among them are men and women who served in World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Persian Gulf War, and our recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as various smaller engagements and peacetime deployments. As we remember these brave Americans today, we should consider not only their valor and suffering in service to our country, but also the challenges they face upon returning home. Our veterans suffer from high rates of disability, poverty, unemployment, and homelessness. We cannot glibly claim to honor our heroes while leaving them to suffer from social and economic ills. This Veterans Day, let us welcome all returning veterans with open arms. And as President Eisenhower wrote in his 1954 proclamation, let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace so that their efforts will not have been in vain. Now therefore I, Edmund G. Brown Jr., Governor of the State of California, do hereby proclaim November 11th, 2016 as Veterans Day. And I am proud to say I took my oath of enlistment 2 blocks away from here. And so thank you again, and it was a joy to be with you.
So we're going to pause for a moment. You guys will see a northwest flyover and an east-west, or north-south and an east-west.
This delightful piece speaks of a place that you would definitely want to visit and maybe even stay. Originally named Cranberry Corners, USA, we think you will like our rendition much better. We hope you enjoy it.
Rancho Cordova in the USA. Rancho Cordova makes me shout hooray. That's where I wanna roam to. That's where I'm going home to. Rancho Cordova in the US of A. Rancho Cordova is the place to be. Rancho Cordova is the place for me. Won't find a single other town that is like it, brother. Rancho Cordova has it from A to Z. Rancho Cordova is the place for me. Rancho Cordova is the place to see. There's a little street that wanders down through the very middle of our town.
Thank you, Rancho Cordova River City Concert Band, for that personalized message song. It's time for our keynote speaker. Hey, Dino, why don't you come up here and stand with me real quick as I introduce you. Constructionman third class, Dean Wright, also known as Dino, enlisted in the United States Navy in January 1979. He attended boot camp at the Navy Recruiting Center, Navy Recruit Training Command in San Diego, California. April 79, Dino was assigned to the Construction Mechanics A School at Naval Construction Battalion Training in Port Hueneme, California. August 79 to May of 81, Dino was assigned to Construction Battalion Unit 407, Naval Air Station, Corpus Christi, Texas. And in May of 81, he came back home to Port Hueneme. His overseas assignments took him to Diego Garcia, Guam, Rota, Spain, and then back to Guam. Dean was a field crew mechanic and a light shop supervisor. Dino grew up in Fair Oaks and Citrus Heights and attended Bella Vista and Casa Roble schools. I'd like to introduce you to Dino.
Hi there, how y'all doing today? It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to follow the people who have spoken before me. It's an honor to follow the Seabees that served before I did and the Seabees that continue to serve today. Now, some of the things that you've heard, they're a little bit off. Ken Cooley mentioned that we kind of supported things, but the fact is we've always supported the other services, just like you're supporting us here today. So y'all need to give yourselves a hand. The work of the Seabees has always been about supporting others and doing the right thing, and that has come with the personal spirit known as can do. We had a mission, we had an assignment. We said, okay, we can do that. We will do that. And as of March 5th, 2017, we will have done that for 75 years. Now, forgive me if I have to fumble through my notes for some of these numbers, but I just don't remember everything because there's an amazing amount of data out there. In World War II, or prior to World War II, during the formation of the Seabees, Admiral Ben Morrell had a challenge. Actually, he had three, but he got the first two done, and that is recognizing that we needed a construction force that was military in mission. The reason for that was once the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, if we used the civilian contractors that were building our bases, they could be executed as guerrillas according to the Geneva Convention. So it became immediately pressing to form the construction battalions. One of the uphill battles that the father of the Seabees had was convincing the Bureau of Naval Personnel that they should be led by CEC officers, or civil engineering officers, who knew the scope of work required, who knew what needed to be done. Previously, all commands were led by line officers. So once he got that done, taking it on as his personal mission, then the Seabees were formed. Then we got to the business of it. So basically, what you need to know is They were involved in every action, anything that put men and material on the beach through World War II. Every action that is, and I don't want to forget any, so Iwo Jima, Okinawa, Guadalcanal, North Africa, Tinian, Guam, all through the South Pacific, and Normandy during D-Day. Now, in order to do that, there was another can-do guy who was also a CEC officer, and his name was Captain John N. Laycock. And he took it on as his personal responsibility with the knowledge that if anything was going to go on in the Pacific Theater, we would need to have a different kind of force, a new science of beach operations. And so what he did, a lot of it on his personal time, he created a thing called a pontoon, which is a steel box that's 5 feet wide by 7 feet long by 5 feet deep. Now this pontoon, they could manufacture them, but with his style of design, he was able to create a thing that was shipped small and knocked down for the Seabees to manufacture on site. Additionally, he came up with a hardware system that made it easy to assemble and quick to assemble. So these pontoons, these magic boxes that the British called them, they ended up, he experimented, Captain Laycock experimented with a number of different configurations, and he came up with the first three, which was these landing causeways, which would be 2 pontoons wide by 175 feet long. And so when the guys would go to land, they would cable them to the size of a landing ship tank, a LST, drop them in the water and push them in. And then, like a slide rule, they were offset. So they jammed them up onto the beach with the amphibious tractors, or the ducks that they were called, and then drop the ramp onto the causeway and run up on the beach. Now, if I can just cite the first 10 days following D-Day, this style of landing, this equipment, in 10 days unloaded 16,000 vehicles, 25,000 tons of ammo and supplies, and 32,000 troops. That wouldn't have happened without Captain Laycock's can-do attitude about making those pontoons happen. And the guys that did that, through their personal dedication to duty and attention to detail, were the ones that made that all happen. But without these pontoons, there's a lot of things that would be different today. And keep in mind, the Seabees that rode the pontoons into the beach were laying down under fire in wide open spaces. They had no protection. So when we think about the Seabees, you've got to think about the can-do of them. The group of the Seabees has the spirit can-do for a reason, but it's also passed on to these individuals. They passed it on to me. That was something I was looking for when I went in. This spirit of can-do. The same thing happened when they landed in Korea, at Incheon. Motivated Seabees of ACB-1 running up on a beach with their pontoons. Later on, while during the Korean conflict, the Navy decided they needed a naval air station in the region, and so they set about building QB Point in the Philippines. Well, civilian contractors said that could not be done. What do you think the Seabees said? Can do. That's right, can do. So, so there was a lot of Seabees working on the QB Point. They moved the equivalent amount of earth to the original Panama Canal construction. but there was a lot of them there, and we needed another problem solved. They were having a problem with the fighter planes that were getting shot down over North Korea, and so we needed a different way to deal with that. We couldn't just wait for the planes to splash in the water and hopefully pick up the pilots. That was wasting planes and pilots. So someone decided that we needed our own airfield there. A detachment called Detachment George from Amphibious Construction Battalion 1 took that task on. They were required to complete this airstrip in 45 days. It only took them 19. Okay? So, again, the can-do spirit comes out. When the first time that the Seabees were in Vietnam was in 1955 when the French were leaving. But according to the Geneva Accords at that time, there could not be a foreign landing force occupying Vietnam. So the Seabees that went there to construct camps for the massive refugee movement from North Vietnam into South Vietnam were required to remove all of their markings from their uniforms and equipment, and in a lot of cases work at night. Again, can do. There was a number of activities in Vietnam. I can't list them all here. Thank heavens for the Google button. I want you all to go look at it though. When they started out 10 years later in Vietnam, the Seabees usually went and traveled as Seabee teams, 13-man teams with an officer in charge. A lot of what they did was build forward operating camps for special forces so they could train locals and interdict aggression. In the period between 1965 and 1969, the Seabee commitment in Vietnam was 21 battalions, 21 mobile construction battalions. That's a lot of guys. That's also a lot of stories. I'm sorry, I cannot tell them all here. Use your buttons. Another amazing feat by the Seabees. They had a project in 1967 where they needed to build a bridge over the Tu Bon River. This bridge was 2,040 feet long and 32 feet above the water. They succeeded in building the bridge, but I'm sorry, I wanted to impress you with the time. I just don't know the duration of that project. Google button that. So, shortly after the beginning of TET, 1968, and the year after, there were 11,000 Seabees in South Vietnam. Around 1969, 1970, as I am told, as the Americans were leaving, the Seabees kept building. They built hospitals at Da Nang, Chu Lai, Phu Bai, and Quang Tri, and many other towns and villages. If I need to go forward here, after Vietnam, we built a little place called Diego Garcia in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It started out as a 3-year tour, and they're still working on it now. It's an amazing place. I don't know what you can see, but I hope some of you, if you haven't been there, can go there someday. The Seabees have always exhibited a support role in helping people that were in harm's way during storm damage or natural disasters. That's just our mission, but it's how we go about our mission with that can-do attitude that makes life better for the people that we affect. Now, again, I am honored to be up here. I am honored to have been influenced by the people, the Seabees that came before me, but the Seabees that came after, the people in the field right now, and I got some marks on a map over there that shows where they were as of July, are doing amazing things and still helping people all over the world. And I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm honored to have served with them, and I'm honored to have been influenced by them. And another little message of support here. I want to thank the Veterans Administration for what they do for us all the time. Without them, I never could have heard this wonderful band. And one more thing. If you know somebody that can influence this, we need to make sure that someone's picking up the phone at the Veterans Administration hotline, the crisis line. Because when somebody calls there, they need an answer, they need help. So if you know anybody, if you can speak with anybody that can influence that, that needs to happen. Also, one more thing, if there's any veterans that have or may have a disability that has not been explored yet, the Disabled American Veterans Group is here to help you and doesn't cost anything. Dennis from the Disabled Veterans of America is right over there in our tent, the CV tent, and he'll talk to you or give you a card to talk later. And as far as support goes, let's appreciate the people that have been at home supporting the home business while we were away on our deployments. The warriors, the people of the home front that took care of business so we could too. Thank you all.
Oh, boy, it is hot. This happens next year, we're going to have to get fans or something, I'll tell you. I thank you very much. I'd appreciate take your seats if you will. I'd like to introduce our committee, and if you'll please stand and nobody applaud until we get done. Councilman member Robert J. McGarvey. Ashley Downton, City of Rancho Cordova. Delisa Verdun, City of Rancho Cordova. Lorraine Ulm, City of Rancho Cordova. Maria Niestead, City of Rancho Cordova. Tara Ricks, who incidentally has the flu. Chief Public Relations Officer for VA Northern California System. Marie Arms, Chief of Volunteer Services, the VA Hospital. Where's Marie? She must have, okay. And Rick Swinford, PER, Rancho Cordova, Elks Lodge. What'd you think of his run? Let's give him a hand. Vernon Winthrop, VF Post number 10125. Colleen Wallace, Republic Service. And Janice Foster Downs, Republic Services. And yours truly, Bob Burns. Give them all a big hand. One of these days we're going to get done in an hour, and I appreciate everybody hanging around. I don't know when it is, probably not in my lifetime, but we'll try. Amazing Grace, Rob Roy, bagpiper. You've probably been standing in the wings. Thank you, Rob. Thank you very, very much. Now the benediction, Father.
As a baby priest, this is my first blessing of veterans. And my dad is retired U.S. Navy, so it means a lot to me. So we invite all the veterans to stand now for this blessing.
Everybody please rise.
Almighty and ever-living God, grant strength and peace of mind to the veterans who have given their best for their country they love. Support them in infirmity and in the fragility of old age. Teach us to remember their sacrifices and to express our gratitude. Help us, dear God, to see your face in every veteran we encounter. Guide us as we imagine new ways to support veterans and their families. Bring healing and peace to all who have been wounded physically, mentally, or spiritually during wartime. Help us bring your saving grace to heal the invisible wounds of war. And may Almighty God bless you, and to him be all glory, honor, and praise, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you, Father. You may be seated. We're going to have a thank you soldier. Tom, before we retire the colors. I must have caught him off guard.
When I lay my head down every night and go to sleep in peace, I can stay there knowing all is well while you're standing on your feet, keeping watch, protecting shore to shore in the air and oceans too, defending freedom at all cost for the red, the white, and blue. Thank you, oh thank you, men and women, brave and strong. To those who serve so gallantly, we sing this grateful song. To the soldiers who have traveled on to countries far and near, in peace and war you paid the price for the cause you hold so dear, that we may wake each morning bright and know that freedom rings because of your great sacrifice. Your country joins to sing. Thank you,
Please retire the colors. Please rise. Let's give him a big hand. Thank you, gentlemen. And now we'll have God Bless America with Janice singing the first verse. Voice, I'm in good shape. And boy, it's cooling off. Janice, you're up. And then everybody sings.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Sing with me, please. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
Thank you. Beautiful. Now, if I may, I would like to acknowledge some of our sponsors, and I'll go through it rather quickly. I would like to thank the following: the VA Northern California Healthcare System, City of Rancho Cordova, for all they have done to make this ceremony possible. Alpha Graphics, Rancho Cordova, for the terrific programs and posters, and believe me, they do a wonderful job. Cordova High School, U.S. Air Force, I was going to say Army, but I'll keep it Air Force. U.S. Air Force Junior ROTC, Rob Roy, Bagpiper, National Sojourners Incorporated, Chapter 133 and Heroes of 76, Rancho Cordova Boy Scout Troop 366 and Cub Scout Pack number 28, Rancho Cordova Elks Lodge number 24 and their Catch the Spirit program, Jerry Elviso from Flowers Fiesta, providing the carnations and flowers in front of the podium. They always do a good job and they're local. A very special thanks to the Rancho Cordova River City Concert Band for the great music they have provided, and their soloist, Janice Schwartz, and their narrator, Larry Momack. Republic Services, Sacramento Consul Navy League of the United States Navy Sea Cadets, Sacramento Division, VFW Post 10125, the American Red Cross Gold Country Region, American Legion, Leonard Yates Post 709, Volker Row Formation Team, and all the volunteers who assisted with logistics and setup, Jake Sharash, BMJ Productions, and I know I murdered the last name on that, John Nolan Parisa, Visual Information Officer, VA Northern California, Classic Events and Tent Rentals, Navy Seabees, Veterans of America's Island X8, Veterans Administration, Benefits Administration, and one more thing, they'll be open in the back there. I announced it earlier. If you got any questions or want to do anything with the VA, they'll be there till 4 o'clock. And, you know, I've been here about 9, 10, 11 years. I never introduced my wife. My wife, Beverly, you can say hello on the way out. Anyway, and there's a story behind that one, too, and I won't even mention it.
The photo, after the photo.
Oh, don't forget the photo now for all you World War II and all these other pictures we want to take. Thank you all for coming today. God bless the United States of America. And everybody have a safe journey home, and we'll see you the next one in May. Thank you.
Bye.